You know that feeling when you're working harder than you ever have before, but you don't feel like you're actually moving forward? It's this super common feeling, especially for driven people. You're just stuck in a loop of putting in all this effort without seeing the results. Okay, so let's get into this because there really is a practical way to get out of that fog and start making some real, tangible progress.
So, does this sound familiar? You've got the vision, you've definitely got the drive, but something's holding you back. Maybe it's this one challenge that just won't go away, or a communication issue, or maybe it's just this nagging feeling that you're not hitting your potential. Well, that feeling, that's a bottleneck, and it's exactly what stops good businesses from becoming great ones. And this bottleneck, it isn't just some vague idea, right? It shows up in very real ways. Maybe it's unclear thinking, where you just can't figure out what to do first. Or maybe it's weak communication that's costing you deals. These are the kinds of things that lead to that stop and start momentum and, well, ultimately stalled results. If any of this is ringing a bell, you are absolutely in the right place.
So how do you break through all that? A lot of professionals end up in what I like to call the coaching graveyard. They get stuck with these super complex theories or these rigid, really expensive programs that promise everything but deliver almost nothing. What you actually need is a guide. And that brings us to Gabriel Olguin, a coach who's built his career on one thing: practical guidance that actually works.
And that brings us to this number, 20 plus. Just think about that for a second. That's over 2 decades of real-world experience. Gabriel has been right there in the trenches, coaching entrepreneurs and sales pros since 2004, helping them solve the exact same kinds of problems we're talking about right now. And his mission, it's just so refreshingly direct. This isn't about some fuzzy, vague promises. It's all about practical business coaching that leads to 3 very specific things. First, clarity, which is the perfect antidote to all that confusion. Then, confidence, which is what you need to take decisive action. And finally, growth, which is, the natural result when you have the other two.
So you might be asking, who is this really for? Well, think about the entrepreneur who is just so tired of theory and needs guidance that flat out works. Or the business owner who is desperate to cut through all the noise and finally get some real momentum going. It's also for sales professionals who get that strong, clear communication is what actually closes deals.
Okay, so what's the secret sauce? How does this coaching actually work? Well, it's not about getting lost in abstract ideas. No way. Instead, it's a really structured, straightforward process that's designed to make an impact right away. It's a practical path to clarity, not another confusing maze.
And the framework itself is a really simple 4-step cycle. First, you start by focusing on your wins to build up that momentum. Then, you dive straight into solving the real bottlenecks. After that, the focus shifts to sharpening those key skills, like communication and sales. And it always ends with a clear commitment to what you're going to do next. It just creates this amazing cycle of constant improvement.
Of course, any framework is only as good as the results it gets, right? So where's the proof that this practical approach actually delivers? Well, it comes straight from the people who've been through it. And we're not just talking about 1 or 2 happy clients. We're talking about a serious track record of success backed by dozens and dozens of 5-star reviews on Google. That's a consistent pattern of people having these really positive, game-changing experiences.
And just listen to the words people use in these reviews. One client said, "The clarity I gained was immediate." Wow, that phrase is so powerful because it speaks directly to anyone who's tired of those long, drawn-out programs that don't deliver. This is about making a real impact from day one. And here's another one that just cuts right to the chase. Practical, honest, coaching that actually works. You can almost hear the sigh of relief in that review, can't you? It's from someone who's probably tried other things that were impractical, maybe not so honest, and just didn't work. This is the difference between theory and real-world results. So if you're feeling stuck and you're ready for a much more direct approach, getting started is just as straightforward as the coaching itself. It all begins with one single, focused conversation. So here's the bottom line. For anyone who wants that deeper support, that personalized guidance that is tailored specifically to your business challenges, the starting point is a private coaching conversation. This is where the real work begins, uncovering and solving what's holding you back. So if you're ready to trade all that confusion for clarity and trade stalled progress for real, consistent momentum, here's your next step. You can go ahead and book your free private coaching conversation right now at coachgabrielolguin.com. And that just leaves us with one final thought. As you think about your own business, your own career, just ask yourself this. If you had that immediate clarity right now, today, what is the very first bottleneck you would solve?